So I think we've kind of really teased at the difference between success, which is about goals and achieving them, and wealth, which, as you said, is a way to broaden options to give yourself sort of more runway as you're approaching those goals and trying to succeed at them. But I do think if we're talking to a layperson on the street, before we get into this kind of deep conversation, if you say wealth to a normal person, they're going to think about the number in an account, probably, or at least that as a component of a broader answer. So if we're talking about building and maintaining wealth, especially as financial planners, I assume there is some component of success that involves building wealth. Is that a thing that you tend to find, no one wants it on their tombstone, but is it a thing that people tend to get very laser focused in with you and you kind of have to tease at them to get to those broader goals? Or is it easier to sort of slot it like, okay, this is a means towards an end. This is how we're going forward towards the thing you want?
Well, it's funny because the perception is that wealth is a number, right? Or some set of numbers that make someone wealthy. But that's not exactly true. In the book, we mention a study that was done by Charles Schwab where they asked people, how much is wealthy? And there's a number, right? An estimate that they came up with of about $2.2 million is what someone would need to be wealthy in roughly today's money. But when you probe a little further, about 3/4 of people don't really care about hitting that number for themselves. I think, or more accurately, they care about other things more than they care about that. And when you think about it, it makes sense. Individually, we all have goals, we all have desires, we all have priorities, things we want to achieve, which may or may not require us to hit a certain number for net worth, right? But we know what's in our own head and what's in our own heart. We don't know that about somebody else, right? You look at someone else and you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what they're feeling. If that someone else is a princess, you look at the exterior trappings of her life and say she has everything, when inside she may feel that she has nothing of value. So wealth is how we perceive other people are doing. It's how we measure other people's success. And even then, it's just the appearance of wealth, right? You can see the car they drive. You can see the house they live in. You can know what schools their children attend. That's the asset side of wealth. But from the accounting perspective, you don't know the liability side. You don't know the debt. You don't know whether they've got any money put away for retirement. You don't know the degree of confidence they have, where their next check is coming from, or how big that's going to be. And those are all components of wealth in the sense that wealth should bring a sense of well-being and satisfaction. So what we perceive as our own wealth is very often different than what we perceive about other people's wealth, because what we know about other people's wealth is so limited.